Good morning and welcome to today's live show. One thing I wanted to apologize for real quick was I forgot to select on yesterday's update video the second. I accidentally left it on the third when I went to schedule it out, so I am very sorry. I really was like, oh, this is interesting, but that is just a complete mess up on my part, and I do apologize for that. We had a little update video talking about how this was one of the things that was kind of the most likely scenario based on your 2-hour chart. One thing to pay attention to as of right now is if by the end of the day we are crossed down on the daily chart, that is going to be a big deal. The other thing is this an overall overreaction to the tariffs? I did watch a little video on Tom Lee talking about the markets, saying overall he thinks that this might be an overreaction to the tariffs, but he is a little bit more worried once we hear more info about Europe. So I thought that that was interesting. He actually was advising buy the dip, but that is not something we do on this channel, right? We watch the signals together. We look for the best opportunity. We look for good decisions and bad decisions. As of right now, opening short positions here might not be the best scenario, but I'm glad that we were aware of the dollar, the 10-year yield, and all the things making us worried going into the end of the day on Friday. My VIX puts are cooked. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, on Thursday, we did put out that video. I mean, on Thursday, that was overall showing you the risk going into Friday and how this, if this were to happen, you need to make sure to manage risk at that point. So you did have signals from the dollar suggesting, right? Remember how this was able to take back the 5 and really hold there. We were looking for this to maybe reject the 5 and come down for that continued positivity. That did not happen. It was different, right? So you have to be paying attention to that kind of scenario. But it's not to say, you know, as far as it goes, you're at like all-time highs. So short, I mean, I understand you're maybe looking for a breakout or something like that, but most part here, one thing you can read into for volatility, just so you're aware, is this low right here. And by the way, let me see if the SPY's up. Okay, good. This low right here is actually, this low is right here. So one thing to notice is that we are lower than that point, but volatility has not gone past that point. Okay, so that's one thing I was interested in, one thing I was paying attention to. Volatility not picking up more than the previous, so I thought that was interesting. It's almost like a lackluster move from volatility, which means some bigger players might not be as scared of this as you are. Remember that the word of the year is confusion, and confusion can show its face in a lot of ways, and usually it shows its face in markets by rip around kind of behavior, and that's what we've seen the entire year so far. So let's hope it continues because it's setting up some great trades. We just got to be quick to hit that profit button a lot of the time. But the runners here from DIA are gonna enjoy this morning. I'll probably have to get out of those as we approach weekly expected moves. If you do want weekly expected moves for every stock that we do cover. And I'm sorry again that the video that I put out yesterday was not put out. I had the wrong time and date selected because I'm stupid. But yeah, if you wanted to join the Patreon, I mean, weekly expected moves, monthly expected moves, we're going to be putting out a monthly update video so we can look into. Actually, this will be very helpful for that Monday video or that monthly video so that we can see this downturn. We can see if dailies are crossing over, and if dailies start to cross over today, then we will be paying attention. We're going to be looking for if dailies cross on both the SPY and the Qs. I think that would be the big deal. Most likely we are seeing a daily pullback from the DIA, so we'll look at that later. If you needed some weekly and daily expected moves, 614.06 to the upside for the SPY. We have to the downside 589.58. So what I talked about in the video was how this level is very, very important. Remember that level of 590. Remember all the put walls that were at 590 last week? Well, they did carry over a little bit to this week. So 590, 595 seems like important levels for today. We've already broken through 595. So now we'll see if we're able to use this as resistance or something like that intraday. We'll find out going forward. Now the daily expected moves, you have 606.99, 596.65, but we're below those points. So what happens when we get below those points in the morning? Well, we have a 68% chance to close back in them by the close, right? And then you can also start to use those daily expected moves as resistance, right? 595 is your put wall. Now it can probably become some resistance. So we'll be paying attention to it. We're going to be out here watching this for the time being. Let's put a little watermark so you guys know what we're on. That's the thing, Samson. So we did discuss that in last night's video, but that video did not get distributed. So yeah, that's what I'm really apologizing for. But the daily here, you see how the daily hasn't crossed, but it's about to. So you are right to call out, Samson. I think this is a very good thing to call out, and it's just kind of confusing for me because I said everything in my video last night, and I'm like, oh crap, what things do I need to say today? And I need to just like cover everything that was in my video, but when I do my video, it's all planned and stuff. So the daily chart here, he is right to point that out. Samson has a very good point, which is if this is crossing down and you're really close to the downside, you have to be aware if that's going to continue. And if this is crossed, I would really start to go, okay, I'm going to believe that can continue. I'm not going to do anything crazy, like take a massive short position down by this area here. But if this starts to cross, I'd be looking for maybe a flag or something like that. I don't think this is going to be the case. I think that we are going to see more rip around kind of behavior here. I do think we might need to make a floor today. I think making some kind of floor would be a good thing. Some kind of base now is what's going to be necessary to curl this thing up. Really, we look at this, okay, we got to cross through that, right? At the end of the day, it's like, okay, we need to cross through this, and then we're looking for more upside. But we've already broken this low, which is really telling you like, hey, we are going into a downtrend as of right now, and we got to save ourselves fast before we start to take out these levels, or it could go down a lot lower. So I think you're perfectly validated to talk about like, hey, if this could be bad if we get outside of weekly. Exactly. If you get outside of the weekly, you cross over a daily, you see another few days down there, you can go way outside of those moves. That's when crashes happen, right? We end outside of the move during squeezes, we end outside of the move during corrections, we end outside of the move during crashes. Those are the most likely times to end up outside of the weekly expected move. That and things like earnings. I held DIA through the weekend. Richard, my boy, already out. just throwing that out there. Already out. I had to. Buying the dips on Qs. I think it's fine. I'm just gonna wait a little bit because the thing is, like we said. So the funny thing is, last night's video. If you want, maybe we could show you the thumbnail for it. Let me pull this up. This is last night's thumbnail. So really the continuation was what we were talking about, but I was talking about how we could end up to the upside. But Monday we'll start the, I don't know why picture a dog's pregnant, but Monday we'll start the, and overall that's going to be the battle between the bulls and the bears. At this point, it's going, oh, the bears stepped in, the bulls tried to push it up, the bears clamped them down. What are the bulls going to do next? And so that's the thing we're really paying attention to, is the fact that I think this will still be a battle. This is a battle between bulls, bears, bears, bulls, bears, bulls, and bears. That's all we're seeing at this point. We're getting ripped around, so being very quick with it is nice, and being a trader in this scenario is a good thing. It really is. You can make good money in markets like this. I held my SPY 602 put through the weekend. Marcus, God, you're loving it. Anyone who was looking at DIA was like the best looking setup. We don't have the right levels, but this is pretty much my first level I was looking for the real take profit. So this is where I'm going to sell off my runners there. So done with that. Fantastic, right? Made money in it, went risk free, made more money in it. Like, this is just nice. Yeah, it feels like we tag a weekly. Okay, so how would we do that, monumental? What would be the best thing to do in this area? Would probably be to get some kind of retest in some way, right? Maybe it's build across and we'll see something in the futures market, right? We can go over here, we can look at the futures, we can see a 2-hour chart or something like that. It doesn't want to load, so I'm just going to go to the SPY. Yeah, this thing's not wanting to load. And lastly, just real quick, the 90% off course sale, it ends like now. It's ending this morning, right? We're leaving it live in case you have any questions about the course, but it will be done today. Today's the last day. We're done. Wait for divergence. It's going to be difficult to see the divergence on the SPY because I think it's going to have to be quick. Just a note, by the way, I'm kind of off a little bit because of, you know, baby girl's birthday. It went fantastic. It was a lot of fun, but a lot of fun usually comes with a lot of tiredness the next day. So A little bit tired at this moment, but that's okay. One thing so I'm a little out of whack for the timing of showing you guys stuff. Well, at 9 a.m., just so you're aware, we get a lot of data during market hours, okay? So ISM manufacturing PMI comes out at 9 a.m. It's supposed to come up just a little bit there. Jolt's job openings will be a big deal. Hey, what's going to go on there? Mainly going to look for the reaction to jobs data. We need to see if people are reading into it good or bad. Next thing, ISM services PMI, then we have initial jobless claims. Then Friday will be the big day, right? You get non-farm payrolls, unemployment, Michigan consumer sentiment. So all of these things are really, Friday is going to be a big day, but you have a lot of data, which means what? People can read into data tomorrow, read into data the next day, read into it the next day, read into it the next day, right? So that's what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for how this thing is structured. Overall, I think at the end of the week, I think that is the good thing to do after taking profits on our shorts. That's great. Right, if you're able to catch a short in this, you held those runners over the weekend, you're pretty happy right now. Are both courses for sale? Yes, both courses are on the sale. So it's not in the description, but I put the numbers in the description, but it's $100 for the full technical analysis course. That's always the one that I push. If you want to get really, really good at like directing where market moves will happen, managing risk, weekly expense, all that stuff, pretty much everything you need is in that full technical analysis course. The swing trading course is just pretty simply just being like, here's how to swing trade, right? It's pretty quick. You think rebound for Nvidia? Depends. Are you asking because you're trying to just take some calls and see if it catches a rebound, or are you actually trying to figure it out? Big difference. Because, see, this is the hard part. Because I just came at on dough for... No, I didn't come at you, but I was just saying, like, usually I'm like, well, if you watched the video last night, you kind of know my thoughts, but I have to remember in my brain, I messed up and didn't put the second. I accidentally put the third, and it's kind of worthless for you guys to get a video on today's price action when the market's already moving. So we'll look at Nvidia. We will look at Nvidia. Nvidia, what I was saying in the video about Nvidia was on a 2-hour chart. It is in a 2-hour chart. It's already flagged. This flag is starting to play out. But the 2-hour chart is what I was watching here, if stuff could load. All I said for Nvidia was, if you make a very quick 2-hour divergence, that's the only thing that stops this from still dropping, right? The only thing that stops this from continuing to drop down is if you get a buyer to step in right here, they push this thing up, and you see a very quick divergence on your RSI, you see a very quick divergence on your MACD. So those are some things that I'm paying attention to right now. We also have weekly and monthly expected moves up for Nvidia on Patreon. Like I said, it's the first day of the trading month, right? It's the first day, first actual session for the trading month. And so today is the perfect day to get monthly expected moves on Patreon. It is just, you will get, like, this market will rip you around. I can tell you this, if you're in a bear market, if you're seeing high volatility, you want weekly and monthly expected moves. You will start to see reversal signals around them, and they will set up great trades for you. You will start to see moves that don't have trade setups around the monthly, and then you're going to go, oh, that doesn't have a reversal signal at the monthly. That's just tagging the monthly, and then that one might drop even lower and crash down, but it will convince you, hey, I'm not seeing reverse. I'm not seeing that buying stop the selling, right? You have to be seeing, right? We talk about in the course so much, 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. You have to be seeing reversal signals around those type of moves to really be able to do something. And I highly encourage that as volatility increases, we don't just see a tag of a monthly expected move and then that has to rebound. If there is no reversal signal here and it like flagged out like this, let's say it flagged out like this is where something crazy can happen. So you want to see those reversal signals around there and then make a decision. I just wanted to make sure that is very clear for people who even took the course already or are part of using monthly and weekly expected moves. You have to see reversal signals. You could, every once in a while you can get lucky and be like, okay, a tag there and it catches a bounce and you see a good trade setup, or you don't have a good trade setup, but you just get lucky. But if you do that over time, those decisions can end up hurting you more than helping you over time. Just wanted to shout that out. But look at Nvidia right now. We see Nvidia going down to lower prices. Can it go lower? Yes, it can. If you're part of Patreon, you know this can go lower. So one thing that you would want to do if you want to maybe end up towards a upside weekly expected move, or maybe like a test of 135, is you need to make that divergence now. You want to see something crazy to the upside, you need to see that divergence play out now and burst through a weekly expected move. Right, so this is very troublesome because it's very tight. You have consolidated to make a decent amount of liquidity in here. You have seen that drop off. So Nvidia is going to be a very worrisome one, right? And it's not even at a weekly expected move yet. All we saw was a big drop, a test of the 5, a big drop, right? We were always looking for Nvidia to take back the 5. It never happened. So I think it could potentially turn around, but you need buyers to step in. That's going to be the big deal. And maybe some data at 9 a.m. can help you with that. We'll see. Yo, everything is so slow, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do, homie? This is super annoying. I will have to hop off just a little bit early today. Not too early, though. Kind of like a regular, our regular style stream, just so you're aware. So as we are way down in negative, right? We're way down into oversold territory here. What are we noticing? Oh, well, we could need to make a base here in some way. This would be probably the best way for us to head up over time. But we do get data in a bit, so we'll see that reaction in about 19 minutes. When considering diversity, also, do these indicators help with individual stocks? Yeah, so if you do all these things with individual, you mainly want to relate it. You mainly want to say, okay, dollar, 10-year yield, those type of things. I'm relating those mostly to the SPY and the Qs, the actual, like those actual specific ETFs, those really big bodied ETFs, right? Because those are the things that are going to be affected by it. That's going to show you the overall direction. Individual stocks can be individually affected in different ways. But if I see the 10-year yield, say, go up, and then I go say, okay, IWM is showing a bad signal here and looks like it needs to go down, it is very likely then that the 10-year yield, if it spikes, is going to affect IWM. So you're always looking for kind of things at the same time. So the reason that we were talking about the SPY was because we were seeing the dollar and the 10-year yield show reversal signals. But notice one thing, the dollar's doing it, the 10-year is not. The 10-year is not fully playing out, right? It completely gave it back. It was originally, but it's giving it back, right? It gave it back, and that's kind of a big deal. So this is very interesting to me at this point, and we do get data in 17 minutes. So what's going to happen here? You know, that's kind of the question as of right now. If we get good data, maybe something crazy does happen. Where the heck is... Defensives are up. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Once people get fearful, they start to run into those. I just wanted to look through... I'm going to look through some stocks on my other charts real quick, just so I'm not loading another page. Apple is dipping down to levels where I think that it's making the right shoulder that could have been. If this thing loads fast enough. Okay, so Apple saw the good move up. We were looking for this confirmation there. You notice this is like Nvidia. Nvidia, we were waiting for this moment. It never came. It never came. So Apple did it and then reacted to pretty much where I wanted it to. I wanted it to set up the area for the right shoulder that could have been. We'll call it that because of this. But look at this. It went right up to these levels. Like, that's exactly where I wanted it to go. Now I want it to dip down, and I want it to curl back up. And Apple would be perfectly fine. But is it just going to do this and curl back up, or is it going to mess around in here for a bit and then be able to curl back up? Either way, I'm just looking for that, right? That, and I have possibly a play to just go to a weekly expected move for Apple. Apple is not losing the low. You're seeing the buying and the selling continue to battle right now in the individual stocks, so that's interesting to me. But people are seeing blood right now. People are seeing blood, and they're a little bit nervous about it, so it makes sense. Tesla, we were stating how Tesla could easily end up at lower levels, right? Down towards that 360, I believe, right? Down towards 360. I think it's like 357. I just don't want to load the screen because this thing's being super wonky today. I'm sorry about it, guys. And Meta's going strong. Like, that's the funny part for me. Meta, the one that looks like it needs to pull back the most, is showing more strength as it lost the 5-day for a moment. Yeah, very, very weird. Okay, let me click through a few others. Amazon, again, as well, is trying to show some kind of... It's filling the gap that it created this morning. As of right now, Amazon does have really bad reversal signals, so I'd just be watching out for that. Nvidia, we got to update that. AMD looks super interesting to me. I'm gonna start loading it on this page. Maybe I'm gonna start clicking over to here to load things. AMD, and we'll look at that in a moment. Yields down, dollar up. Is that expected? Actually, no. That is very uncharacteristic for the 10-year yield in the dollar. The 10-year yield in the dollar for almost all of 2024 were tracking each other almost perfectly. Almost perfectly. So there is some funkiness going on, but I think this is the bond market realizing, like, I think this is a reaction from the bond market just overall saying, like, no, these yields do have to drop. Exactly. So now and Dave's spot on with it, actually. What they're doing by causing those yields to come down, aka they're buying into TLT or buying bonds per se, would just be, oh, okay, they think that there is going to be economic weakness due to the tariffs, and so they think that they more need to lower the rates than heighten them, or else you fall into that chance of going into a deep recession. So they're thinking, I think that's what they're thinking. I think they're teetering. I think they're in that gray area of, like, do we fight inflation or do yields need to go up? Like, do we sell off the bonds because we need those yields to go up to fight inflation? Or do we need those yields to drop? aka, do we need to get into TLT because we're about to see economic weakness? And that's kind of the battle that's going on right now in the bond market. And I think they're kind of in a gray area. I don't think they've figured it out. Once again, the word of the year is confusion. And I think they're confused of what to do. It seemed like they were very confident in saying, oh yeah, we're gonna sell off. We're gonna sell those bonds. Let's raise those rates. We know we need to fight inflation. Now it's a different story. There's no way that this lines up, right? There's no way. Okay. Close one. Let's get rid of this. Okay, AMD, very interesting here. This is almost like a double bottom. So I wanted to point it out. You are getting something here from AMD. But just so you're aware, AMD has an E here, right? It's happening this week. AMD also has a pretty big range. This is not by a weekly expected move, but I just wanted to show it to you real quick. 2-hour divergence popping up, maybe for a double bottom. We'll see. Then I need to do this real quick. And QQQ went right off the weekly. So QQQ, as of right now, just so you're aware, the updated level is 536.89 to the upside. Just so you have them, because last night's video I messed up. Just totally butchered that scheduling. 507.69 to the downside. We had a lot going on yesterday with baby girl's birthday, but 528.13 for the upside, 516.45 for the downside. Daily expected moves in red, by the way. So what you're seeing here is a gap down below a daily expected move. Not a good sign, but we've seen it before, right? We've seen it before, and we've seen what happens after. So we can still just be paying attention. Right now, the Qs have not made a new low. So very interesting, they haven't made a new low. I think that's interesting. Expecting it, blah, blah, blah. Well, like I said, I think it's this too. It shows people's emotions right now are heavily reactionary to data. Okay? So this actually tells us a lot as far as risking money in the market, right? We have to assume that reactions to data are going to be large. They are going to be large. Reactions to anything that can be related to stocks are going to be large. for this time period right now until we see the sentiment kind of change. But right now, people are very quick to react to that, it seems. How much are the courses with a discount? If you get both of them, you can get them right now for 150 bucks. Look at the 2-hour VIX. Exactly. See the volatility, we just noticed that, hey, it's not making a higher point. It's not absolutely popping off. We're still looking if the 2-hour can fade this. The only bad thing you have as far as volatility goes is the daily chart is crossed up. It's going to struggle to load this, but okay, it didn't struggle to load the daily chart. That's interesting. The daily chart is crossing up as of right now. Okay, the daily chart is crossed up as of right now. Now that's a problem. But it's up by more than 10%. We have what, a 85% chance for an up day in the SPY now in the next 2 trading sessions if that closes up above 10% today. So we'll see what happens. We get data in 9 minutes. Let's look for some reactions. I'm going to take my time with it, take my nice profit, sit on my hands, look for a good next setup, right? This is a time where patience can be very, very rewarding. All right, this can be very rewarding. If you're just patient with it, you see if we're actually going to set up a flag to crash below the weekly expected move. You see if we set up a divergence to fake everyone out and taking those bearish bets. I'm guessing that people are getting decently bearish. They are. All right, sounds good to me. Now we'll see if they're right or we'll see if they're wrong. And if they're right, we're going to probably see a flag and head lower. If they're wrong, well, then we're probably going to see a divergence and end up turning this thing around for a little bit. GME. Let's do this so we're not clicking around too much. GME, once again, just remember the 2-hour divergence point here. If it's still holding on the RSI, I got to wait till that loads so I can see it. I think, Farron, I think you're making a fantastic point. I think you're making a great point. If this is absolutely terrifying for the market, we'd be outside of a weekly expected move right now. If today was a Black Monday at this moment, and we still can do it by the end of the day, but right now you're just thankful you're not outside of a weekly expected move. That's when people can really start to pile on the selling. So just be aware of that. I don't think it's bad. I already paid for the course and some more. Exactly, NatS. And when you find those opportunities, you got to be taking them seriously. And I was just happy that DIA showed it to us, and I got to show it off to you guys on a Thursday. So you actually had potential on Friday to get into the position, which is fantastic because we actually showed it during market hours on Thursday on Patreon. It's like so nice, isn't it, Nat? But thank you so much for taking that course, Nat. I appreciate you. I just hope that it's helpful. Now, this could be a separate point of divergence. This could just be a wipeout of the divergence. We need to see if it can wipe out these lows. As of right now, holding decently well. Time to take profit on gold. The weird part with this is either gold is lying or the dollar's lying right now. One of these two are lying right now, and I'm very tempted to say gold because a strong dollar is not necessarily the best thing for gold. And gold is going up one more time, making another 30-minute curl up into positive territory, and we have weekly expected moves, so maybe I should check on this. Let's go check. I'm just gonna check them. You're not at a weekly expected move yet, just so you're aware. But one of these two are lying. That's how I see it. HYG. HGX was a good warning sign as well, right? This was one of the warning signs was HGX, the housing sector just dropping off like pretty rapidly there. And then you see the big gap down. So this is very, very bad for the HGX. The SPY heading down towards a weekly expected move. Uncertainty about Trump talking about Mexico consumption in that. Sorry, I'm trying to look at it one more time. Happy Trump apocalypse. You just don't know. This is just the unknown going into people's brain, and people are negative on it because they think that goods will get more expensive, and that's Perfectly fine reaction. Perfectly fine reaction there. We're almost to a weekly in the first 30 minutes of the week. I'm going to say that we are very likely to see someone try to buy that dip and then see it curl down again if it's going to be bad. Right? I think we are very likely to see buyers try to slow it down with a flag and then fail it. All right, if it's going to get worse, it's most likely not going to be as easy as, oh, it dropped down, buy shorts, goes down. I just don't think it'll be that easy. The word of the year is confusion, so I highly, highly doubt this will be that easy. This is why I'm mad that the video I spent so much time on yesterday, I put a bunch of time into it, and it didn't even post. So that's unfortunate. Because the overall topic was there's going to be a battle between bulls and bears. It's just going to be bigger swings. I think there's still the battle going on. So yeah, you're usually, once you're out of a play, so say like, the SPY, say I was in this and it dropped down. As you get to the weekly, you'll notice a lot of the time, if you're going to continue, what are you going to do? You're going to make these little shelves like this, maybe. A lot of the time when you're in the downward direction, you'll actually see that more in the form of a bounce, right? That's why you see this bounce a little bit. That's why we saw this bounce a little bit. That's why we saw over here even that bounce a little bit and then drop off. So we most likely will see some kind of bounce, and then you'd look for rejection here, or maybe you even go all the way up to gap fill and then you fall down again. So you're thinking correctly. Hey, is it time to overall just like hold positions and be like, oh yeah, this is crashing, this is crashing? That would be mostly, I would say, trying to hold runners at this point in case there is some kind of crash. You don't want a ton of exposure there, in my opinion, because it could just be a battle between bulls and bears, and that's what I think you're more likely to see, and you're seeing that right now even in the morning. Has this bar moved much since the open? I mean, it's moved slightly up, slightly further down, slightly to the middle, and you're right back where you technically opened. So you're more likely to see that battle. So what you're trying to dictate here is who's winning the battle. If this flags and then breaks, well, then bears won the battle, and that's going to go down lower. And then if that keeps going and you don't see that turn around, the bears are going to win and win and win. But if we see that flag and then break down again and spike back up, well, we might be looking in the futures market for some divergences, right? And we want to see if the bulls end up tricking the bears and then winning the battle. That's all we're kind of looking for now. But this is the volatility not able to spike above the previous high is kind of saying to me interesting things. People were more worried about this drop, and people are not as far as positioning goes based on the VIX, you would say people are not jumping off of their call side activity as hard compared to this drop. Who winning the trade war? I don't know. Probably USA will win though. I'm gonna take a hot guess and say that either the negotiations go bad and all of it just gets rewound, or we're just going to see America end up coming out on top on a lot. And here's the thing with the negotiation. I mean, when you go buy a car, what do you do normally? Or what would you say? Well, maybe not buy a car is the best, but if you're negotiating with someone on Facebook Marketplace, they say this is $100. What's the first thing you do? Well, you might give a drastically lower price that you're very comfortable paying, right? You're going way under maybe even what they would even take to see if their mental would bring them down. So you might say, oh, I'll pay $40. They're like, nah, man, you don't want to make it too low to where they're like, I don't give a crap about you. So maybe you say $60. And then they come back and they go, the lowest I can do is like 90. And then you go, well, 85, and then we're good. And then he's like, okay, fine, I'll do 85. Right? You just got 15% off. Awesome. So that's what I think we're going through now. And I think Trump might even just be going like 25%, and it might end up at 15 or 10% at the end. We don't know how it's going to go, but A lot of the time on your first negotiation, you're going to take your strongest standpoint that would be like the absolute best for you. And if the person doesn't cave, you have wiggle room. It's just, I don't know Trump's mental with this. And then crypto, we actually talked about crypto a little bit over the weekend during our little live show. What did we say? Well, if you start to break down, right, you can end up down towards 91.8K very, very fast. You ended up at 91.8K very, very fast, and you're seeing a bunch of buyers step in. Do you see how this is a battle between bears and bulls? It's just a battle between bears and bulls, and that's what a bear market is the funny thing, is like it's a battle back and forth overall, and it's meant to trick you back and forth. So I think we're in one of those times now. I don't think we're in a bear market, obviously, but I think we're in that type of behavior. And so I'm sitting here going, yeah, I'm going to see if this flags and then drops again, maybe take a little swing to the downside. I'm going to see if this creates a divergence, or maybe we see some kind of just 2-hour cross back up. What if the 2 hours just cross back up? Wouldn't that be bullish? What's the thing I drew out over the weekend? Wouldn't this be interesting? Wouldn't that be the very confusing way to go higher, actually? We would be bearish, the next day we're bullish, 2 days later we're bearish, then we're bullish on Friday, or maybe into next week. Right? That would be very confusing. So I'm trying to think in my head what would confuse me. See, Greg's bringing up the good negotiation point too. He actually brought down the, I think it was like he brought down the tariff on oil or something like that. Which is what I said to my dad. I go, I mean, what do we really get from, I said to him, he's like, yeah, what do you think about the tariffs? I go, well, what do we get from Canada? He's like, I don't really, I'm like, I think we get oil. Like, maybe that's what we probably shouldn't tariff. But other than that, I don't really see anything. And then he just looked it up and he was like, oh, it looks like they're actually going to lower the blah, blah, blah on tariff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Once again, I'm still not someone who's going to sit there and read into the news and think I'm learning something. I'm just like, let me look at what people are doing with their money. Data is out. You are correct. Let's go check it out real quick. We have a ISM manufacturing PMI of 50.9. 50.9. I really would think that would turn around these yields, but you're not seeing too much of a turnaround. Seeing volatility increase from it. Seeing the SPY drop down even lower. I don't know. Part of me is just interested. Interested to see how this plays out, but if a 2-hour chart just curls up, we might be seeing more. You know, I'm just not going to be baited in. If you let yourself get baited into thinking crash all the time, it's going to be a problem, right? We're going to see this daily crossover. We're going to see this confirm at lower prices. If we're going to see further downside, that's the most likely scenario. Is if you want to see an actual like bigger drop than even this right here, well, then you first have to cross over this daily chart. Then you probably have to flag and trick people for a day, and then you come down. All right, you need people to believe there's a floor. You want to make people kind of reposition, in my opinion. There's too many puts for people to be taken off guard, so I'm very hesitant to say like, oh yeah, those people are right. Right now, they'd be right now. That's just very unlikely. But if your analysis is telling you something, you take a trade, hey, that's why we have the management of risk, right? If something starts to go wrong, we're ready to react. I day trade and I'm sitting on my hands. Exactly. You probably need to see more. This is a big gap. Terry, Lee also said this is a good buying. Yeah, Lee literally came out on TV and said like, yeah, this is buy the dip. And I was like, I mean, I'm not confident to say that just yet. I'm not confident to say that just yet, but I understand it. Yeah, you might be looking at Meta and going, this looks interesting. Maybe one more curl up. Amazon, you might be looking at that going, this looks interesting. Like, those are ones that haven't. But look at Microsoft. Like, Microsoft. Look at this. Am I, like, absolutely scared that Microsoft is going to drop off a cliff? I think a lot of people could be. I'm good. How low did we get here? 409. Not bad. I mean, technically, it might just be another deep divergence point, really. This could be some way a bottom. I know you had a double top at the high. Who's to say this isn't a test of the lows and you're going to produce upside now? Daily's cross, that's a big problem. Don't we have daily divergence kind of now? Like, really? It's really fishy looking, kind of scary looking, but it still could potentially be a double bottom. So just don't get overly bearish. It's fine to be bearish. I'm saying don't get to the point where you're not going to react if something goes against your trade. That's all I'm saying. Right now, if you're bearish, you're right. Right? We were bearish on the DIA on Thursday. We put out those videos. And the literal thing, the thumbnail of the video said, I am worried. And I literally put a lot of it. It was a different kind of video for us, but I wanted to be very clear with why I was worried. And it turned out to be something to be worried about, which is just, it's awesome to see. Gotta say thank you to the charts again. But I'm going to be bearish right now because the signals tell me to be bearish. I let the signals tell me that, right? Once I see a reversal proven, I go, okay, I'm bearish now. But I'm going to give myself a solid amount of bullishness in the back of my mind just in case something turns up. If this 2 hour turns up, I don't want to be bearish. Give me a brief moment real quick. I'm going to go use the restroom and I will be right back. All right, guys? Give me a moment here. My daughter's up there playing with all her presents. Very sweet, very sweet. Sweet like candy. But my goodness, I have enough catering to eat Jimmy John sandwiches for like a week. And I'm not bummed about it, let me tell you that. I'm not upset. Oh shoot, someone donated. Sorry, Richard. Richard, we need to have a conversation about you calling me Robert. Dude, I call you Robert half the time. I think you need to change your name to Schnooky. I think that would solve a lot of issues for us. Who here votes? Say yes in the chat if you vote that Richard should change his name to Richard Schnooky, so that I can call him Schnookers. Schnooky one, shmush shmush. I vote Pookie Bear. right, well, let me see what you guys are talking about. I don't think this downside is worth the risk. As of right now, I don't think that this will be a scenario that's like good to take calls right away. And I don't think it's even good to take puts in this area. I think you're still looking for some kind of, maybe even gap fill first, right? Notice that we gap filled, then the big drop happened. If we're going to drop again, you'd want to see that gap fill and then see that next drop. And then during this moment here, we'll see if there's some kind of 30-minute divergence. I think that's the overall move here, right? I think that's the overall thing to sit and wait for. I mean, even day traders coming into the chat, right, and being like, I'm not even day trading this right now. Yes. Oh, God, Snookers. I'm just kidding, Richard. I'm just kidding, Richard. Sometimes I'm just glancing over and like, woof, got a glance? Oh, okay. Robert, no. GME to the moon. Is the moon in the ground right now? Because, I mean, like, you know, everyone's so bearish on GME and AMC. Those things. No, you're good, Richard. I know. We're bantering. We're bantering, as the Europeans would say. Shut up. Is the volume good? I'm not telling you to shut up, Pish. I just want to see. Yeah, that ain't bad. We'll see. It's a good one. Yeah. I think AMC's actually looks pretty good. It's already gap filled. Have we had the reason to buy yet for AMC? Have we had the reason to pay attention to AMC? Yes. Have you had the overall reason to buy AMC? We'd have to say no, not yet. We need to see that closing bar above the 5 on the 2 hour. That would be fantastic for AMC. Thank you for blessing me. Yeah, let's check on Ford. I don't mind that. Yeah, so Ford, once again, holding great, right? Holding great. But originally, what is this right here? It's turned down. So what I like to do when you're flagging is I like to say, if this is turned down, then we're likely to break the bottom. If this was turned up, I'd say we're likely to break the top. And I keep it that simple. I'm like, hey, this is turned down. If that's turned down, I'm always going to think we're more likely at this moment to cross through the bottom. If that would have crossed up just now, instead of going further down, it crossed up, we'd say, okay, we're probably going to break through these tops. That's overall how I see it. Now, this is a curl down on the 2 hour. You have a bunch of liquidity in this area. We'll see if we can buy it back. But if that daily crosses, what are you looking for? Well, potentially lower prices. Potentially you're going to see this actually break down. And then you'll see if you can maybe hold up with the tapering a little bit. See if you cross down, maybe funnel around for a little bit, and then curl back up. That'd be great, right? We'd see a steep divergence. This is Ford kind of saying like, yeah, this is bad. It's not as bad as it could be. It can get worse, and then watch out for reversals. If no reversal signal pops up, there's nothing to do. You know, there's just nothing to do. I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now for Mexico, as of right now. Let's just talk about Mexico for a sec. There's two things you need to consider in with the tariff talk. Mexico is very likely going to want to do work with the United States, more so than the United States would want to do further work with Mexico, in my opinion. Now, this is just purely speculation on opinion, okay? But I'm just saying, if we take away one of the biggest money-making schemes for their economy, illegal immigration, drug cartels, mainly that side, right? The cartels. They already said they might actually release our top units, right? Our top tier units onto the to take out the cartels and get them out of here. That would put a huge damper on profits, I'll tell you that. Can't tell me that no one in Mexico's government is benefiting from the cartels. I think all of them probably are. So if you stop that profit, you're gonna need to do trade. You're gonna need to make money somehow. It's over my pay grade, though, to research into that. SoFi thinks it looks great. Like, I don't think SoFi looks that bad. Now, I think it looks bad right now. I'm saying more so, hey, SoFi could do something good later, and that's more what I'm getting at here. But right now, you have to say, this is bad, and if it continues to be bad, it can be worse, right? It can be worse. We've seen some big drops, which daily charts are crossing. Like, this is very, very ugly. I'm saying this could maybe get a reaction before we actually see this break these lows. Now, we might need to head deeper to do that, but I'd be looking for something like this. I mean, look at this right here. If we react down to these levels, then we get that bounce. Then you're going to be in a scenario of, do we actually bounce to set up the next move to go higher, or do we get that bounce to fall down and see some kind of little, actually pretty big head and shoulders? So that's what I'd be watching for SoFi. I don't like the daily divergence, but I just don't think it'll go down in one shot. I think it still will bounce around for a while. We'll see that. Once again, you have to treat it seriously, right? This was a very good confirmation bar. This was actually an okay confirmation bar, but all of these could be considered confirmation bars technically. But this one, I think, really told you, like, ooh, this may get uglier, right? But notice what we're pointing out here as well. And notice what you guys are saying, right? As far as, oh, opening a position right now, well, that might bounce and trail over to the 5 first and then drop down. So for something like the SPY, we can kind of relate this to it. Well, where's the 5? It's way up here. So we might need to react sideways, let that 5 catch up, and then we experience the next drop, right? So we're just chilling. Steve was like, yes, please change your name to Schnippy. As far as support goes for Nvidia, I think you would have to say we might be heading down. And this is why I just want to see if buyers step in, because your next real support would be in this box that we created a while back. So something around 104, 103. Yeah, I think that's the next level you're looking for. But looking at this daily chart, I just want you to see where that's at. I mean, this would have to keep dropping. So if you're going to see that, you're going to see little 30-minute moves like this, and it's going to keep doing this over time. But if this wanted to, well, we'd like that reaction to retest like in here before you drop again. So we'll see if we get that big retest, maybe fill a gap, and then we're going to see like a 30-minute curl up for a moment, and then that'll fail. So we'll keep watching, but that's the main support, I would say. Who's winning the trade war? Whoever opened the first like whatever Charizard card that's worth $1 million. That dude won the trade war. These tariffs aren't going to last. Exactly. That's what some people are saying as well. It's like if he goes to they might be wiped out soon. Who knows? I don't even know if it'll be a couple of weeks. I think it might be quicker than that. Look how everything is moving as far as this administration goes. Like they are, I don't know why some people are tweeting like, oh, look, Trump's golfing again. It's like, dude, do you realize how much is going on right now? Like how much is being done? I don't think you understand. If you're talking about someone taking a golf trip for 4 hours when the rest of their week is like fully packed jam full of stuff and they're doing stuff everything, it's just like, come on. I think Canada and Mexico will move towards favorable trading with China. Possibly. Notice the difference in the China. Notice that China hasn't said anything back. From what I think, Willow, maybe you would see that? Maybe you would see that because Willow seems to be tapped into it a little bit. Look if China's responded. China only got a 10% tariff, and China will be the interesting answer. They are real quiet. That's what I'm saying. They're like they're not saying much. But people are forgetting that China was included in that because everyone's so focused on Mexico and in Canada. So we'll see. Calls are pricey right now. Really? Let me go check. That's kind of surprising. If people are trying to take calls, then I don't know if that's a good idea. Puts there. Let's see. Let's do for Friday. Ooh. It's a little bit much. How much is it for like a 2-day one? Not bad for day traders, just bad for position because it's going to be expensive. It's going to be really expensive. I don't even know if that's worth. Those gaps at a good sale, incremental buy, then cause TSI still pointing down, or RSI still pointing down, I assume you mean? You got to see how things are based now. I mean, you look over at IWM. No, we don't have the right levels up right now, but you look at IWM and you're going, ooh, that's a breakdown. And so you want to look for probably gap fill here. But IWM getting close to that weekly expected move, right? Get those up on your charts. Pretty much IWM is the one that's kind of like right at it. So is the SPY. SPY looks ugly, ugly, ugly. In order for me to take calls here, man, or even puts at this point right now, like already sold the DIA ones because good money, man. But yeah, in order to open a position now, man, I'd have to have some balls in either direction, I think. I don't think you have much of a hint going on. I'm keeping my eye on the dollar. It's just such a positive trend that it's like, it's going to continue for one more. Like, even if we get a pop here, I think it's going to continue for one more push down. Yeah, at least a little ABC maybe. Unless this is overall the move already. It's just kind of a funky way to do it. Dollar looks okay. I'm just gonna look through some stuff real quick, see if anything's reversing around. HGX, the housing sector, is not reversing around. The dollar is starting to reverse around, by the way. It started to reverse around actually at 2 a.m. for me. You started to see a little bit of downside, but I'm looking at a 2-hour chart, and that thing is in a very positive trend right now. So that would tell me that I should be very aware that something like this and something like this can take place. And then I'll probably be looking at futures for those divergences. Where the heck? Here we go. Didn't touch weekly yet. The thing is, it doesn't have to touch directly on it, right? This is why I'm kind of out of whack with it, but 590 is a very important level, okay? 590 has a pretty good put wall there for multiple expirations this week. And they might have got piled on even harder as it started to go towards it. So you don't, the Wall Street would not want to lose 590 unless they're expecting this thing to tear down. So they're willing to save the market. We have to see if they're willing to set up some kind of defense at 590, and that's right above our weekly expected move. Oh, sorry, Samson. Short course. Yeah, I'm trying to look into how to explain that the best, because it does take a little bit more explaining. And right now we just give out moves on the Patreon. But we're thinking about putting that in the course so you can just like, hey, it'll save you time at least with Patreon for all these other ones. But if you want to make them, I'm thinking of doing that. But if you take the course, there is a way to make them. Okay, so we give you a way to make them using simple platforms, like the most simple platform. You can use anything. You could use Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is pretty good with the implied volatility to use. I've done it before. Because sometimes, like, you know, we've experienced plenty of times in 2024 where it's like, oh, this platform is crashing for a day. This platform is crashing for a day. This platform is crashing. So sometimes Yahoo Finance is a good thing to use. if you're looking to make weekly expected moves. Yeah, well, I'm looking at the dollar. If you're looking at the dollar, you kind of read into this, right? So look at the 2 hour though; it's very positive. It's above the 5, so I'm not convinced by any means that this is going to be just straight up in one shot. It can be. It's just for an opportunity. I'm looking for the double dip, and the dollar is hinting that the double dip would be a likely scenario. $5 move in like, I think it was in like 2 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. And now we're at the weekly expected move. Or I'm sorry, we're at the test of the daily, the downside daily expected move. My apologies. Can we see his 570 SPY? This week, that is seen as unlikely according to the options data. 570 seems unlikely to the options data at this point. Quick Hundy, let's go, Kalani. It would just be unlikely. It would be a 32% compared to 68%. If you see a signal for that to happen, that would be more what I would pay attention to. What that would really look like is probably a lot of sideways price action, or we actually build this up over time, and then you see something like that, right? That would shoot you down to 570, but that would take a lot of time, and it's a very, I would say, unlikely scenario at this point, but just because we don't have the price action to help us with it. That's all. Like, if you have more price action here, this is why I'm going to wait a couple of days and just see what the price action does, and then I'll make a decision most likely towards the end of the week, once I see how everything looks. Look at Meta trying to stay green. It can hang out up there all at once. You know? This is why I'm like, things are difficult. We go up so much faster than we go down. Well, it's true. It's just selling is in different patterns. Like, buying patterns are more like, oh, simple flag, head to the upside. Simple flag, head to the upside. Curl down for a pullback. Test support. Okay, head to the upside, right? It's pretty simple. But downside can literally be like, oh, everyone thinks this is a bottom. You gap down the next day. So downside's a lot. Actually, it's much harder to short in this market than take calls. Or regular trading. Like, if you look through trades for a long time, it's much easier just to take calls because the market overall is bullish most of the time. My little area that I see as support for Nvidia is around 10, I think it was like 105 to 102. But that's just the next support I see. If buyers step in at any time, you technically have 2 hour divergence there. I'll keep my eye on it. Yeah, you technically would have the 2 hour divergence if you started to curl back up for Nvidia. But it's not down towards a weekly expected move, so. But the SPY and the Qs are. I almost did. Addy, how dare you almost forget? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for liking the video, Addy. Ethereum was 2100 and could not buy. Don't really want to buy now at 27. What did Bitcoin ripped up, right? So Ethereum probably ripped up too. Oh yeah, nice. Well, if you try to buy 2100, at least I don't see from TradingView that we got there. Perfect. Like, literally like, if that's gonna happen, a big buyer just stepped in to save that. So buyers stepped in for crypto a little bit here. It's kind of a big deal. Bitcoin's actually positive right now. We might be, maybe this is just gonna V-shape, who knows? But I can tell you that's not a good signal. That's for sure. This is not good to have on your chart. AMC is positive. Wait, is it doing the 2 hour thing? Oh, do the 2 hour thing. Do the 2 hour thing. Here, I'll put this on, I'll put this one on SPY now. Do the 2 hour thing. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. It's a trap. I don't know why, Ben, but I thought of like that dude from Star Wars. as a trap. IWM is ripping back. Also, Mexico responded to sending 10,000 guards to the border immediately. Good news, Lucas. Yay. Oh man, SH3. It's gonna be a wild time. Yeah, that's what it is. Everyone's got it for me. You guys got it for me. You guys know who I'm talking about. VIX rising, SPY rising. Interesting. Well, VIX overall is just also one thing is it can be volatility. They can rise at the same time. This could mean that actually volatility might be, well, VIX is not rising while the SPY is rising right now, just by the way. So we can't really talk about it because it's coming dramatically down while the SPY is going dramatically up from where it started. Oh, you're good, Mustafa. I just wanted to clarify. But sometimes the volatility can move up as the SPY moves down, or as the SPY moves up. And it's just to indicate maybe actually people are shorting the upward move or not taking calls in the upward move. So that's something to watch. The heck was I looking at? Oh yeah, that's right. AMC, you gonna do the thing or what? AMC, you wanna do the thingy? Do the thingy where you go up a little bit and then tomorrow you go up a lot of bit. That'd be nice. It might be, Dave. Like I said, it's overreaction. You would not have good like 30-minute divergence signals. So if a 2-hour just confirms up, we actually might end up touching the topside weekly expected move by the end of the week. I just think we're going to want to build up. I think it will be some kind of build up to get there, and then we might go into next week to reach these levels. If it's going to remain bullish, always thinking both sides, right? That's just one side. Nvidia is not going down. Very interesting for Nvidia to not go down. I wish my video went out yesterday so you guys knew what I was thinking for Nvidia. If the 2-hour can confirm the divergence here, it might be rejection divergence at this point. Might have an upside move. I think an hourly, you can see it very easily from the hourly chart. You see the divergence. Very, very nice. How high up is Nvidia's move this week? Good thing I'm part of my own Patreon so that I can figure out how high up it's supposed to go. Cool. Let's check if it is cheap. Probably not. Are people bearish? Not as bearish as they could be. This might be still a double dip. Let's go. I've been liking my 3-week plays, actually. It's been pretty nice. Let's see, 131, 130. Still a little bit pricey, but I am buying 3 weeks worth, so we'll have to see. And how quickly, let's see, $5, that would price into 5, 315, probably not worth. So we'll have to wait. Very nice. Very nice for AMC right now. We'll see if that can keep that positivity going. All right, we officially have the test of the daily expected move. Let me see what the dollar's shaping up to over here, guys. Trying to keep an eye on things. It's gonna be a crazy time. 2-hour about to cross down for the dollar. Very interesting. So maybe we will see that gap filled. Hold for long until it recovers. Buy the dip. See the world saying they can't keep the market down too long. There'd have to be some hedge fund getting margin calls. Facts. I mean, yeah. It feels like, I don't know. Feels like things have been a little down since that yen carry trade. Feels like people have been a little bit worried. Feels like money's moving a little fast. We'll see. Yeah, that's true, Willow. Wait, I thought that offering was... I thought the offering was done. Maybe I'm incorrect. Either way, I see a good signal. I don't care. You know that there was a... what was it for AMC? You know the last offering? There was a 2-hour divergence. Yeah, you went up for that big spike. Remember where they diluted? It was right here. This is where that little share offering dilution took place. You had a bunch of 2-hour divergence, led to a big drop, curled back up. You were about to see it, and then they diluted. I actually do think this was bad timing there. But once that crossed down, you have to know that means the daily chart can cross now. So even though people think these things are random, it showed it to you again. It was a more complex one. It was that. I'm not going to say it was very obvious. But you got the spike up, you held the divergence point here, you lost this one, but you held the main one, right? You held this one. So you have to pay attention to 2 hours crossing. Then we saw a attempt at making a higher low, right? We saw the 2-hour divergence, led to a bounce, higher low, led to a small bounce, and continues in the downward direction. So now you have the opposite signal. React however you want. I know what my plan is. Hopefully you have yours ready for anything that you want to do. Hopefully you're planning it out and not just trying to be like, I'm just going to look at charts and figure it out and bet money behind it. I'm like, no, let's have a little plan. Did I block you? Of course not. Why would I block you? Did you say something bad? Did you say something bad? How dare you say something bad? I haven't blocked anyone. I think I've blocked 2 people. I was gonna say I love you. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. I'll take that. Sorry, I kind of have a chart laying over the chat right now, so I need to fix. Maybe I'll do this so I can see your guys' names a little bit better. So I'm not calling people Robert or something, you know? Hey, that's my name. This is great. Yeah, I will have to hop off in about 23 minutes, but stick with me, right? Stick with us till then, okay? I just have to hop off a little early. We got a bunch of stuff to get out, and I got a bunch of stuff to put away from baby girl's birthday. So very nice to get out of the DIA play right away. Gives me time. I'm pumped. I mean, who knows? Said I'd be looking for signals that confirm that. Right now, the thing I'd be just watching a little bit is how the dollar behaves, right? The dollar's coming down. This suggests that, hey, the 2-hour is crossing down. We can go react to the 5, and then most likely we will continue a positive trend and we'll see a double dip. That's the most likely scenario here. So this means we might experience some positivity in the SPY. Do I think that's enough reasons for me to safely, or from a risk management, risk reward standpoint, be like, yes, this has to go to the top side daily expected move? Yes, this has to go to gap fill. I mean, potentially there's some reasons there, but I just don't know if this might escalate, right? People are reacting pretty heavily. So I'm just going to be patient, right? I'm looking for those good trade setups. If I'm patient and I wait for those good setups, you're probably going to see them a lot in 2025. But can it happen? Of course it can. You have all the showings that it can happen. You have the dollar dropping. You have the SPY starting to go up. The dollar is crossing down on a 2-hour. It's very likely to go down to the 5, which means the SPY is very likely to probably go to its 5. Makes sense. It's just not enough for me to risk money behind. It's not the right reasons. For me. It might be for you, but for me, it's not the right reasons for me. TLT, another little spike up there. That's funny. Apple, I really want to see you do some cool stuff this week. All right, Apple. VIX dropping off, almost down back below 10%. Oh, wow. I think that a V shape with and no one's pointing out some big news in my chat, so I'm gonna say that we would have some big news if we were V-shaping. Someone would say something is the reason. Oh man, guys, I was tired this morning. I was talking to like 50 people yesterday. My goodness, in person. Jeez. to understand the technicals. Has it helped you, Kapil? Do you think it's given you a good, at least improved you a little bit, maybe with the decision making? Has it helped you? Tend to remain patient and take better decisions. I think that's a great thing to do. And here's the thing, Kapil. I think it's very, very difficult. I think it's difficult to come out and even type that to a bunch of people. So thank you for being honest. Thank you for telling us what's going on. And thank you for holding yourself accountable. I think that's fantastic. I had to do the same thing at multiple points during my trading career. I'd be like, so I'm doing something wrong here. I put all the blame on myself. Because if you can accept the blame, you can change. And it sounds like you're going to dedicate 2025 to changing a little bit. And I think that's fantastic. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like you said, maybe I just need to make better decisions. And that's awesome, Kapil. And it definitely did. I'm glad that this channel and the courses were able to help you out. I'm glad. Very happy about that. Let's really focus on implementing those changes. All right? That's what you're focused on for 2025. I love to hear it. It means you can be extra, extra patient. You can be extra patient and maybe even just see if you find 1 or 2 opportunities a month. What if you see a 2-hour divergence like this on the SPY? And it's towards the middle of the month. Oh, we could see a daily pullback? Maybe that's the one that's going to work out the best. You know? Being patient, very, very good. Thank you for sharing, Kapil. Don't have to trade every day. Exactly, Sub-Zero. Also, dope-ass Mortal Kombat character. Like, let's go. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point. It's like, a lot of people think, like, I sit in front of my computer all day. I go enjoy stuff. Yeah, I'll take a trade. Once I take profit, I go, oh, okay, now I know. I'm probably not going to see a setup here. I'm probably going to have to be patient for a couple of days. So am I going to sit and stare at charts for a couple of days? And if I miss a trade in that couple of days, am I going to be bummed out? I would rather hang out and have lunch and hang out with my daughter and wife every day instead of taking a trade. But dude's got to make money, right, Chris? But I know that, hey, I most likely have a day or so to wait for the price action to do what it wants to do, and then I'll be able to make a decision. I can go, actually, the snow has melted, so I actually can go touch grass. Hell yeah. Can you send us a link, please? It should be in the description right there, Mitsunami. Try that one more time for me real quick. Let me know how it goes for you. And then if you're still having problems, shoot me an email real quick, and it's in my About section if you're having problems purchasing, and we'll just make sure to try to get it to you. All right? Don't think, I mean, you're in here, you're messaging, you're saying you want to get it. I can try to send you a coupon code or something at that point if you aren't able to get it today, like right on the dot. Right? If you're here, you're asking about it, you tried to buy it, it's the processing's not working, maybe their site's down or something for a second. Yeah, we'll make sure to try to get that to you, all right? So try it again in the chat there, or in the description of this video. You'll see both of the courses there. Click on both if you want to, but yeah, give it a try. You catch the move up? No. I'm not going to day trade this. No. But we noticed that the dollar was falling. It's been falling since 2 a.m. So a reaction to the upside said people potentially were buying at that moment. So you actually have the dollar, weirdly enough, you have the dollar at elevated levels falling with a higher PCC and the SPY down at an almost overreaction for the day type of level. Hey, 68% chance to land in here. It happened. 68% chance to land in here by the end of the day. So far, it happened. You've already built back above this pretty easily, honestly. Yeah, so Dave, you're really believing like, yeah, we're gonna head higher over the next month is pretty much, or I guess 3 weeks. So we're okay. Yeah, send me an email on Mitsunami. We'll figure it out. You can send me screenshots of the error if you'd like. We'll figure it out for you. Hey, that's awesome, Lil Nick. Happy for you, bud. That's dope. Yeah, little scalps are pretty great for days like today. So, I'm not the biggest scalper. I do it every once in a while, but for me, I took profit on a trade today, so I wasn't, you know, every time I take profit, I try to take a deep breath and just be like, hey, maybe don't take a trade today. And that's just because I want to make sure that my brain is balanced and not on some euphoric high from taking a win, right? When you take a win, I don't want to be cocky is pretty much what I'm getting at. Thank you, Lil Nick. I appreciate you. Trump delaying tariff on Mexico. That's going to be good news. There you go. Thank you, Terry, for finding that for us. I'm trying to focus on pretty much charts right now, but you will see that reaction. But do you see where we were at when we got that reaction? 590 and right by the weekly expected move. Fantastic. That's awesome, Lil Nick. I'm happy for you, bud. I'm happy for... who was it? Was it Richard? Richard, did you say you held on to DIA? That's awesome, dude. Same girl, same, you know what I'm saying? Stocks cut losses after Mexico says tariffs to be paused. Down just 200 points now. All right, and that's why I take profit, because confusion's the year. They're gonna keep trying to go back and forth, I'm telling you. Now, what we might want to see is if that's the story for the day, hey, that can go fill this gap. Now you have a definite news reason to fill that. Then we'll look forward. And tomorrow we're going to get JOLTS job openings, and that can cause more confusion. So don't think that the first move has to be the right move tomorrow morning, because that comes out 30 minutes after the open. Okay? So we still need to be trading like water. Did it really? No, it didn't. You lying. What platform, Tony? Both time to check it out. Okay, Steve-O, yeah, check it out. Let me know. Today's the last day to grab it for the discount, but if you already got both, yeah, check out both courses. Sometimes I like to say, if you want to take the swing trading one first, just to kind of dip your toes in, because it sounds like you might have got both. That's not a bad move. And then the full technical analysis course, the using indicators and things like that, that's the one you really want to focus on. And when you buy it, it's yours, right? A lot of people ask me, like, how long do I get it for? I'm like, you get it the whole time. It's yours. That was wild. Where is it, Tony? Tony, I gotta see what platform that is. That's awesome, Christina. That's awesome, Christina. Happy to hear it. Congratulations. Now let's keep making good decisions. Thinkorswim. Okay. Sometimes that one tracks a little bit better with those quick moves. And it did it on Webull. That's crazy. It didn't happen on TradingView at all. I wonder if mine caught it. SPY. I do like... Dang, I didn't see it. I don't see the spike down on anything on mine. Lame. I wanted to see something cool. Got me all excited. All right, we'll see what's going to go on with this for the rest of the day. But if the dollar keeps dropping, stocks might continue to head into fill that gap, and then we'll see what happens. Definitely take these courses. You can recover money in 2 trades if made right as per course. Hey, that's awesome. That's awesome, Kapil. I'm glad you were able to catch to do that. A lot of people have said that. They're like, because it's so cheap, I can't believe it's this cheap, because once I take one trade, I completely pay for the course and more. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of why it's at that. Is so anyone can start to realize you can be successful, even with small amounts of money. You can be successful. You just have to make good decisions. Great. Just got the kids on the bus. How's it going? Hopefully the kids are doing good, Bumblebee. How's it going? Well, we just noticed that some people reporting that we might have paused the tariffs for Mexico at the moment. So people reading into that as a good thing for now. What's on CLEU? Someone said it's a scam, but I believe I found location. They seem to have a real phone number. Oh god, I'm like scared to look at that one. I would be hesitant if that's the over. Oh god. Oh no. Yeah, I can't look at that. I'm sorry. Case of the Mondays? Yo, same. Yo, you're scaring me by making me look at that Addy. Holy crap, that's one of the scariest things I've ever seen. Can you imagine holding that the day before that happened? Like, I don't know what even happened there, but I just saw a really high price go to a really freaking low one. Nobody talks crap on that, though. Everyone talks crap on AMC. I don't get it. I don't get it. AMC's positive. Nobody's hating on GME for being negative while AMC's positive. Gah. Gah. I missed making calls. My poo didn't let me wait. That's unfortunate when that happens. You got to take it like if you're an athlete or something. You got to have the pregame poo. We shall see if it rebounds. Well, have those reasons, right, Addy? GME won't drop a offering though. Yo, facts, Willow. Yo, why you gotta beat up a movie company or a theater company like that, Willow? That's rude. That's just rude. GME just did it at the right time. I mean, if you go look at AMC, they had a vote when AMC was at very high levels to do an offering, and a lot of influencers convinced everyone to vote no on the offering. That offering would have put AMC in a better position now than GME if they would have done that back in the day. Isn't that crazy? Like, they voted no, though. A lot of AMC influencers, they sold their positions and made money off of the squeeze, and then told everyone to vote no, which I thought was very weird. Oh, you are stating facts. I'm stating the time that they could have done better, like how they could have not been in this problem anymore. That was actually back in potentially 2021, right? So, but they made that, hey, that decision was made, so now they have to sleep in that bed, right? Gap's at the let's see the close here. 601.77 on mine. Eli. VIX may come back down to buy area again. Yes, it might. Don't think that this has to be over. Look at that 30-minute. It's still up there. Like I said, double dip is very likely here for this buy. And if we see a divergence on the volatility, that would be nice, because we're not going to necessarily see the best divergences most likely on the SPY. We'd have to go into shorter time frames. So you have 601.82. I got 601.77. We would just say that general area there, probably 61, 601, 50, 601.77. This news does not include Canada. Well, you know, how many things do you buy that says made in Canada versus made in Mexico? Who's someone that we kind of want to do better business with right now because it directly is in our best interest to do good business with them right now? Well, if you take illegal immigration into consideration and what they're doing with that, you probably want to start a better, you know, you want to be still good with Mexico, I think. Like, if you think about that basic thing, what this administration seems to be the most focused on right now, yeah, you probably want a good relationship with Mexico right now. So I think it makes total sense for us to kind of react to Mexico a little bit quicker. But I'm not a tariff expert. I'm not a negotiation expert by any means. I am not any of those things. I'm a guy that makes pretty good decisions based on a bunch of bars on a screen. That's what I am. We've been trying to make Mexico the new China from what I remember. I was watching some streamer last night, Amit, his name or something. He was selling Google on Sunday night somehow and spreading his fear to 3K people. Yeah. You've probably seen my tone when I think things are bad, right? That video on Thursday was like, this actually can be scary. Like, this actually, like, I put it blatantly in the thumbnail. I was like, I am worried about this. And I'm glad I was, because our community was able to at least see, hopefully, what I was talking about. And then you had the decision to make, right? You're controlling your own money. We're not trading together, but we're controlling money. We're looking at the decision making. We're looking at what probabilities are popping up. And so it's good to be aware that on Friday, if we see a sell-off, just watch out, because there's some reversal signals from the dollar and the 10-year yield. And the housing sector was dropping off. We had a lot of reasons. Yeah, you can trade in extended trading, because I was reading this. What is it? Something he was selling Google on Sunday night, but somehow, well, it depends too what his account is. It depends on a lot. Is he doing option plays? You know, like it kind of depends a lot. I think almost every platform offers some kind of extended trading. It's just you have to look at the platform and make a decision pretty much. You're saying Intel and Enphase look good? Coca-Cola. Oh my gosh. Okay, I will look at this one. Okay, I will look at this one, because Coca-Cola was one that I was calling out a little bit ago. But one thing to notice, you know, we called that out. I think we talked about this a long time ago, like maybe back here or something like that. Maybe it was here, actually, because we made this line, right, 61.45. So maybe it was around this area. Or this area. But we'll see here, 2-hour divergence. This can curl over daily charts. Daily chart is where? It's still by that center line. You have divergence. This is great. This means you're going to make an attempt to test the highs, maybe even try to get that into a positive trend over time. So this is not a bad thing. This is actually saying, hey, I should probably look at weekly charts. Okay, the weekly chart looks like what? That's about to curl up. This means that Coca-Cola could see weeks of potential upside. Maybe not in this type of pattern, but it would say, like, over time, this could end up in the upward direction. Maybe to go test something like 69.50. All right, so if that confirms up, that'd be great. And you have the daily divergence to say, like, you know, this looks pretty good for this to try to make that attempt now. So now you're looking for, if this crosses, that's bad. If this crosses down, that's bad, right? You could lose 61.45, all that good stuff. As of right now, what are you doing? Left, head, right shoulder, right? Aren't you just trying to consolidate? That'd be awesome. So Coca-Cola, I do not mind. The only thing that scares me is the E, right? The E always scares me. Last earnings was positive. At least it's green. Let's see. Positive, but look what happened. Down, 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 down. So earnings might be the 50-50 flip there. The other one I'm interested in is still Intel. I think Intel is interesting at these levels. You see the very obvious potential that you are just creating some form of head and shoulders in here. So you have to be aware that the daily is crossed down. That's bad. That is not good. But what does the daily have right now? Well, you have a bunch of divergence, right? You just made that triple dip almost, right? Triple dip down to lower levels. So if that daily can cross up, you might be seeing good things for Intel. When's its earnings? It's not for a while, right? It's not till April. So you just got some earnings right here, and you go, okay, awesome. If this is able to create that base and curl up, now I don't have earnings in the way. Buyers step in. Hey, if momentum shows me a good signal, I'm happy about it. See, the world made 10K today. Yeah, Steve-O, I think Coca-Cola looks super interesting. I think it looks like it wants to start that weekly uptrend move. That's what it looks like. You always got to make sure nothing's going wrong, right? There's always another side to it. You're aware of the risk. We're aware that if Intel just did this and fell back down, what would that look like? That wouldn't look good, right? You're always be aware of what can go against you. It's kind of like, you know, friends close, enemies closer type deal. Friends close, enemies closer. Your enemy is the sell signal. Your enemy is what can go wrong. So don't you want to really be paying attention to that? If everything's good, it's simple. Oh, that's still good. Oh, that's still good. Oh, that's still good. What you want to be paying attention to is the enemy. The enemy is the thing that can cause to go wrong. If I'm taking a bullish trade, the enemy is a seller. If I take a bearish trade, the enemy is a buyer. We've never talked about it like that, but I think that's very interesting. And then one more I think I will look at for you is Enphase. I think Enphase is always pretty interesting, and I really like this. This is the floor that you're creating. If that daily crosses up, what's likely to happen? Your weekly might cross up. Your weekly's crossing up right now on the MACD, not necessarily with the price action, Just notice that. But you see the divergence holding on the RSI. That is a good sign. You're trying to cross through that signal line, right? We added the signal line just so people could see that visual representation, maybe to help make a decision. But we see that that's trying to get through there. We see that this is pretty good price action. We see that we just don't have the price action to confirm that at this point. And we do have earnings after hours tomorrow. So this will be an interesting one. As we look at the weekly chart as well, let's just do this. Bink, bink, bink. Weekly divergence down there. End phase looks like it could be gearing up to be some kind of opportunity here. All right. Now, this does not mean it has to play out. You have earnings. This is something that's very troublesome for earnings time, right? You have a great signal, but you have that E there. So you have to be aware that this could be, oh, positivity with the, oh, shoot, right? Look for the thing that can go wrong. Keep that enemy close. Well, good luck to you, Steve-O. Sounds like you got a bunch of plays to manage there. But good luck on all of those. Seriously, I don't think you're picking bad ones. It's just you want to be aware that some of those are showing like, hey, there might be something to react to. End phase, I would just say that earnings would be something to watch out for. Oh, we still have AMC up over here. Damn. Curl up, AMC. Come on, baby. Did GME come back at all? Yeah, it came back a little bit. Yeah, let's look at Palantir. Palantir had some bad signals too. So Palantir on the 2 hour had a bad signal here. This is a bad signal. So you want to get rid of that right away, right? You want the 30-minute to be able to get rid of that and it be a bad confirmation. Right now, this is almost a bad confirmation. We're getting close. The 30-minute, do we have reversal signals? Well, kind of between the highs, but you have all these blips in here, so I want to see it in the near price action. Right now, this could be just a test of the 5. That curls up. Positivity, we do have weekly expected moves on Patreon and new updated monthly expected moves for Palantir. So you got to keep in consideration this can make one more upward move. If that 30-minute curls up, that 2 hour doesn't curl down, a 30-minute move higher would make sense. Then you'll have earnings to deal with. Yippee, right? Yay. But yeah, 30-minute divergence is what I'd watch out for. Earnings, what I'd watch out for. 2 hour divergence is there, suggesting that the daily could cross down. That could be a daily double top. Look at the divergence there. If this didn't have earnings, you would almost have a golden setup, right? The golden setup that's in the course, Palantir almost showing that now. But from this, now we could see, oh, we might not even need consolidation. We could just head up or head down with whatever is produced in the earnings. And I'm guessing, I'm just going to guess, that Palantir has a huge amount of implied volatility. I'll pull it up as it's updated right now. Okay, PLTR. Let's just do for the week here. You have 162% implied volatility for Palantir this week. As of right now. Right? So this means it's probably going to be difficult to make money unless you're very right. Because you're going to have to risk a lot. You always run the risk of the IV drop. So it's close. But remember this. Remember the SPY was potentially going to curl over a daily chart today, and it didn't. So that's good. High IV? Potentially, yeah. That's probably the better decision to try to do, Jamie. Because it's like, you want to see, I just don't mess with earnings at all. I'm like, look at something that doesn't have earnings. You know, there's like a bunch of stuff that doesn't have earnings now. Can you do the SPY? I'm stressed. I mean, it's going to be a rip around kind of year. So I'm never going to expect a 10% down day in the SPY. I'm just never going to expect that. I think you're going to get confusion all year long. And then I think you'll get periods of time where people are very sure about something, and then the confusion will kick back in. Yeah, Jamie, I'd look into it if you have to play earnings. I just think there's other stuff that doesn't have it. So BlackBerry, a lot of 30-minute divergence dropping down, 2-hour cross, no divergence there. Just kidding. I lied. There's kind of some divergence points. You're just violating one of them. So you want to just be aware that this has grown a little bit. It's gained that room back. So if this wants to curl up on a 2-hour, you can see more upside, weirdly enough. But this might need more time. You're starting to break below that 5. I think you're going to see more done here. Maybe a test of $4 would be good. There's $4. Yeah, $4 would be pretty solid there. Maybe even gap fill real quick. Yeah, 30-minute though. If that can curl back up, great. But right now you're just getting the test of the 5. We'll see. I don't think it's like simple by any means for BlackBerry. Is curling up or curling down line on BB? The blue. Yeah, you want the blue. For BB, like if you're talking about these, for the MACD, you want the blue here, right? This is the 5 you're retesting if you're talking about that blue, but that's just a retest. Silver squeeze coming soon. Yeah, we've been looking at silver a little bit. I've been saying, I'm like, man, if this thing can gear up. Ooh, oil. Remember we talked about oil showing reversal signals. I was like, I'm kind of hesitant to say like oil is going to absolutely collapse when it's giving me this reverse signal and everyone's talking crap about oil. I'm like, everyone's talking about crap about oil when I'm saying, oh, there's a reversal signal forming. There's a big floor forming here, right? And that formed, then it dropped off dramatically with that updated news, I assume. Bitcoin's actually positive now. Do I think the work's done here? Probably not. Probably not done here. You're probably not just going to see that rip with all the data we have this week. It's probably more likely to see confusion. AKA, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. That looks like confusion to me. If we're going to end up in the upward direction. Get this off my screen. My coffee's in the way. But yeah, USO, very interesting. MSTR, let's go look at that. That's right. Thank you for mentioning it again. And then this will probably be the last one I can look at. 2-hour again, 2-hour rejection divergence coming in. Probably more so want to look on an hourly because you actually have the bar down here. And you're not necessarily thinking divergence, weirdly enough, because it takes the closing. But you're thinking, hey, this held up well. It might be considered some form of base at this point. If that hourly would curl up, that would show good things for MSTR. Has it curled up yet? No, you have a descending 5-day moving average, so you can always use that as resistance. Yeah, I don't think it looks bad. This would mean that the 4-hour could potentially cross through that center line. Not a bad thing, but what did we talk about MSTR that's actually shaping up here? Well, a reaction down to lower levels, and then the left, and then the head, and then the right shoulder that could form, right? This is what we were talking about, how MSTR would head down. So this push down actually allowed you to hit that level. Now if you do this, it's kind of worrisome. So we'll be on our toes. We're not anywhere crazy. Usually if you're going to see some kind of, you know, I would say more of a crash or a big start to a correction, usually you're around a monthly expected move. Let me go check, because some people have problems with that. Let me just make sure everything's good. Make sure I don't have any notifications or something. Check my email too, in case they sent me something. Someone was able to grab it this morning. Senthil, thank you so much for grabbing the course. And Lynn, thank you for grabbing the course. We had one person taking swing trading, one person taking the full technical analysis using indicators, divergence, and an option strategy in volatile markets. Right? How to make money in any market, really. But they were able to grab that this morning, just about an hour ago. So just make sure we're using Google Chrome and things like that, at least, maybe. Sometimes I know Safari's messed with it. I don't believe I've gotten any notifications. Yeah, I haven't gotten any notifications saying anything's wrong. I'll try to leave the course up throughout the day for a little bit longer. That way we can see what's going on if you guys are still unable to buy that at this point. Yeah, I'd have to actually like contact them and look into what the actual point of this is, what's going wrong, because I have nothing on my end saying that anything is wrong as of right now. Yeah, nothing on my end. Still checking through, but keep trying, keep trying. If you ever, you know, think you got double charge, I'll check. You know, I don't want people to get double charged or something like that. I haven't seen any of those orders come through. Yeah, I can send the link if you want it here. Don't do it in the chat. It won't post links for me in the chat. If you can send me in an email. Yes, yes, it is, Jamie. Yes. I just wanted to sum it up very quickly in the description down there. $100 full price. You might get taxed based on where you're at, but that's it, Jamie. Yeah. I don't control the other fees, but my price for it, I've added nothing in there. It should just be $100 flat as far as the course itself. You might have to pay tax and things like that. The freshman PMI was upward revised 51.2, exceeding the preliminary estimate of 50.1 and improving from 49.4. It's in the about section of my channel for my email. It's just today's going to be a day where I'm very busy, so I might not get to you tonight, or maybe it might be tomorrow morning when I wake up. But I do. Does the course material expire, or do you have no? You have access forever. So once you buy the course, it's yours, right? You bought it. It's all yours. If I add to it, there's no upcharge, right? We've added videos to it before. I have a bunch of stuff I'm actually supposed to add to it in the first part here of 2025. But because this market has been ripping around for like 2 months now, I haven't had a lot of free time. So, and this is like the busiest time for me. So I'm going to try my best. I know that's a bunch of excuses. No excuse here. I'm going to try my best to start really putting out those update videos. And yeah, you don't have to pay extra for those, right? Anything that I think could be helpful to you gets added to the course. If you already bought it for $100, I like doing that these days, right? It's all yours. AMC's red now. It got the memo. All right, but as long as we're managing risk, as long as we're trading like water, we should be perfectly fine, right? As long as we're utilizing our weekly and our monthly expected moves, we should be fine. We can be open to something crazy happening and then pay attention to a downward monthly expected move. We could be open to something crazy happening to the upside and pay attention to the upside monthly expected move. Patreon members, I will be putting out a monthly update video sometime in the next 48 hours, so just be ready for that. And then be looking out for the weekly update, okay, guys? Once again, I just wanted to apologize for me scheduling my video improperly. It was going to end up coming out today, and I meant to put yesterday. So that was my mistake, and I do apologize for that. But we were aware of the risk because of Thursday's video and because of Saturday's talk a little bit, which is nice. So if you need those weekly expected moves, hey, get those for the SPY and the Qs. Just click through the video a little bit. If you want to do it at the end here, hey, there's your weekly expected moves. Pause the video, and I'm going to switch over to the Qs. All right, switch over to the Qs, show you those as well. There you go. There's your daily and your weekly expected moves for the day. Monthly expected move for the Qs as well. There you go. That's the range we're looking at for the month of February. So let's just pay attention and see what's going on. All right, guys, I gotta hop off. I mean, she's up there. Actually, I think she's on her nap right now. She's probably gonna wake up and want to play with all her new toys. All right, guys, I'm peacing out. Talk to you guys later.